Fiqh without ethics, marriage with the intention of divorce. Sadly, many women have left Islam or lost the trust of scholars due to the mistreatment by some Muslim men of women, and these include some Muslim religious preachers, Islamic speakers, and online personalities. An example of this can be found in the issue of marrying women with the intention of divorce. Marriage with the intention of a divorce is a contract in which all of the terms and conditions of the Islamic marital contract, i.e. nikah, are fulfilled, but the man intends in his heart to divorce the woman after a specific period, whether long or short. Now, many Muslim Sunni scholars deem this marital contract to be valid or technically halal, but the spread of this marriage, especially amongst Muslim travelers who are overseas, whether for studying, tourism purpose, these types of temporary, you could call them temporary marriages or marriage with the intention of divorce, has resulted in many harmful consequences to the women, their families, and society at large. Now, there are some scholars, or many scholars in fact, who deem such marriages to be invalid, immoral, unethical, and haram due to the deception involved and it being like a temporary marriage known as mut'ah or a pleasure marriage, which is prohibited in Sunni Islam. In Sunni Fiqh, temporary marriage or mut'ah marriage are prohibited, but some Muslim jurists argue that the marriage with the intention of the divorce is technically valid, but although they argue that this type of marriage is immoral and unethical. Some scholars said that this type of marriage is a type of mut'ah marriage. Others said that it is not a temporary marriage if the man does not verbally state his intention to divorce the woman. So this is really a technical difference amongst Muslim scholars of fiqh, amongst jurists. However, even if this marriage is technically valid or sahih or halal, as in because it fulfills the conditions of nikah, the overwhelming majority of scholars still say that a Muslim man should not contract a marriage where there's a form of deception and cheating. So Muslim scholars still argue that although it may be technically valid, it is still something that one should not engage in. As Islam prohibits deception, such a marriage is clearly wrong and not in line with the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who was sent as a mercy to humanity. The Prophet also spoke against the sexual exploitation of women, as well as those who are the tasters, i.e. serial marriages for short-term gratification, and there's a hadith about this. Despite this, some Muslim scholars unfortunately give fatwas, i.e. legal opinions, that a marriage with the intention of divorce is legally valid in Islamic law, although they do, like I mentioned previously, do discourage it. Sadly, some students of knowledge, Islamic speakers, and Muslim da'is, i.e. religious preachers, they use this religious legal loophole to contract marriages with unsuspecting women before they return back to their home country or after they have fulfilled their desires. Although this type of behavior is clearly immoral and deceitful, some outwardly religious people claim that it is perfectly permissible in Islam. Sadly, many women have left Islam because of this despicable behavior. Women who are new to the religion are often targeted as they are usually more vulnerable than a born Muslim woman with a strong family support system. Oftentimes, revert women are encouraged to marry quickly to protect themselves from zina, i.e. fornication, and some Muslim religious leaders will even recommend themselves or their friends to marry the woman. Sadly, many of these relationships are secretive, abusive, and short-lived as the man already has a wife and family. May Allah protect our hearts, families, and communities. May Allah aid those who have been exploited by religious womanizers, and may He punish those who violate women under the guise of Islam. The religion of Islam is wonderful, and the guidance of the Prophet, peace be upon him, is the best. That being said, Muslim practices are not always aligned with Islamic teachings. May Allah forgive us for our wrongdoings and give us the courage to speak out against injustice, even those that happen in our communities and families. Anyone familiar with the principles of Islamic law, i.e. usulul fiqh, and the harms of such unions that have on women will most certainly reach the conclusion that marriage with the intention of divorce is wrong and not allowed in Islam. As someone who has studied Islamic law abroad at a prominent religious university, I'm in Egypt, as well as being familiar with some high-profile Muslim preachers in the West, I have been well aware of the shady marriage practices by some religious preachers and leaders. What I never understood is why such knowledgeable individuals would use the religion to justify what they know was morally wrong. Fornication or adultery between two consenting adults is one thing, obviously we know that it is haram, but deceiving a woman into a sham marriage to fulfill your desires is something very low and evil. It is even more disgusting that people would try and justify such malpractices in the name of Islam. Citing some scholars' opinion or the legal opinion or fatwa that such a marriage is quote unquote halal or valid does not make it right or acceptable to do. To marry a woman with the intention of divorce is really wicked, and it's unfortunately how prevalent, and it's sad how prevalent such marriages are. And the Prophet did warn us about there are going to be some outwardly religious people who are immoral, and there are also some people who are clearly unethical. And the Prophet did say to consult your heart, even if everyone is giving you a fatwa. So there are times where you may hit different scholars giving fatwas, but you know inherently that it doesn't feel right or it's wrong. One should consult their heart. May Allah protect the faith of those Muslim women who have been divorced, abused, violated and deceived, and may He guide those women who have left the religion to return back to Islam with renewed faith and hope in Allah, His beloved Prophet and the Last Day.